little thing on. Hello.
Alright, you're gonna eat the microphone every time we're talking. Just kidding.
Hello?
Whatever you want to say.
Eat the microphone.
There you go. Alright, we're bringing you in.
Precision nutrition. Revolutionize nutrition. Precision nutrition. I'm sorry.
We know precision nutrition too.
They're
It's
good.
okay.
They're good. I know. It's too late. I'm on the poster.
It is Christine Conti.
And I'm Brian Prendergast.
And we are two fit crazies.
And the microphone.
We are where it's at. And you know where it's at, Brian?
Revolutionize nutrition.
Yeah, episode 115 of the Two Fit Crazies. That is where we're at. So welcome to the show, Michelle and Randy Franco.
Thanks for having us, guys.
I love it. We love it when we have an in-studio guest because there's just an extra energy. We don't have to worry about all of a sudden, like the interweb going down and us talking to nobody or, some craziness happening. Just all the craziness happens in the studio. So
Yeah, it is crazy. Me and Randy are really close to each other, sharing one microphone right now.
Way too close.
This is super uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of straddling him right now. This is a little awkward. I was kidding.
We don't both have to talk at the same time on that mic. So
Maybe we want to.
Randy, you speak when spoken to, okay?
That's it. I'll stay out of it.
I love it. So welcome to our show today. Obviously, we want to hear all about RevolutioniZe Nutrition, all about what you guys are doing. And, like Brian and I say that, it's your company, it's what you're doing, it's what you're getting out there that, that brings you into our studio and into our realm. But really, we want to hear the story because you are very passionate about what you do and about changing lives, and you're in good company. But what is, first of all, tell our listeners, what is RevolutioniZe Nutrition? Because this is obviously worldwide. This is not something that is just, obviously we're both in New Jersey right now, but this is not just in New Jersey, just like our listeners are from all over. Tell us, what is this and how do we find out about it?
I just don't even know where to really start. You were talking about being passionate. I think the passion of this kind of consumes us sometimes, and it drives us a little insane at times. But we started we were in the fitness industry for a long time, and we were personal trainers in the industry for a while. And the athletes that we worked with, they were getting stronger and faster and more agile, the whole bit. But they weren't seeing the aesthetic changes that they wanted. They weren't leaning out. And they followed every fad out there, everything that you would read in like mainstream media and women's health and Cosmo magazine.
Wait, you mean that stuff is not?
Oh God!
You mean at the checkout line
Oh,
at the supermarket?
It's awful. It's so bad, and it's all conflicting.
We'll get into that later.
Oh, it kills me a little bit inside. But everybody was doing all these things. And I'm like, guys, everything you're doing is like wrong. And that's kind of where Randy came in. And we brought in the flexible nutrition approach, which has been very sustainable amongst the clients, and has led our company to grow, is because people really enjoyed the process. So Randy could go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess it all starts with really the story of RevolutioniZe is the story of Randy and Michelle at the beginning. As silly as that sounds. We had just started dating in that January, more or less. And Michelle, around February, was like, I think I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. So she goes to me, I'm going to go hire a coach. And me wanting to impress this girl, like, I can coach, sure, not a problem. So I pull something out of my ass. She wins the whole show, the overall.
Nice.
Does very well. And I go, all right, this method might be onto something. Because the method we use was a little different than a lot of other people's, especially in the bodybuilding world. We, like Michelle said, we use a flexible nutrition approach, or like if it fits your macros. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. So as where most bodybuilders or athletes are eating cod and asparagus, running all day, miserable, she was able to get away with that, where literally I was shoving sweet potatoes in her mouth, pulling her off the treadmill, and getting her moving, and everyone's going the whole time, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. So she gets to the show, takes off her robe, and like, oh, what? No, you guys aren't that crazy.
Yeah.
So after that, we decided, let's take those formulas I had, modify them for the everyday person, and see how it goes. And we opened the LLC for RevolutioniZe a few months later, and then it just
we sat in our basement and went online and just created an LLC, and we're like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, with the credit card that I couldn't even pay off.
Yeah. And at that time, And he nailed it. We didn't want to focus on just athletes because competitors are just such like a small like niche. So we wanted to work with everyday people and tell them, hey, science-based flexible nutrition approach. You don't have to eat cod and asparagus for every meal. You don't have to eat chicken and broccoli for every meal. Are those healthy like whole foods? Sure, but you can have so much more variety than that and live and enjoy it. So what started as just me and Randy meeting people at their homes, meeting people at Starbucks, at Dunkin' Donuts, wherever we could meet them. We did their nutrition plans. Very ironic that we're in Dunkin' Donuts. It's kind of awkward. And
Don't eat any of this.
Don't eat
However.
but we do teach people how to eat donuts. That's a side note. But we just saved our money. And then that was 2013. By 2014, we had the money to put a down payment on a house in Freehold, which is where we ran RevolutioniZe out of. And it was just me and Randy with all this space and nothing to really fill it at the time. And just from word of mouth, we didn't do any advertising, any marketing. It was just word of mouth. People were loving it. They were leaning out. They were dropping body fat, eating the foods that they love. And, you know, we had a staff, and our staff changed over time, and it grew until the point that our clientele grew so much that we actually had to leave Freehold last August, pretty much exactly a year from today, and move to a bigger facility in Manalapan. So we're just growing. The community's growing. There's a nice feel there, nice energy, and so that's kind of our growth.
And it's nice now that the business is run by the staff, the nutritionists, and me and Michelle get to oversee it and run everything, which is the best, because I said from day one, and I'm not going to be the first guy to ever say this, that I want to make sure everyone who we hire is smarter than me. I actually joke around.
Yep.
I go, I'm actually not, when I hire for the company, I'm not qualified to work for the company anymore, so I couldn't get a job at Rev.
We get people who have better qualifications than us.
So
we're proud of that, actually.
Yeah.
We're actually proud of that.
So what has it grown to? What is the staff like now? How
So
many people
our
are you employing?
staff, I gotta, listen, I have to applaud our staff. They are phenomenal. We love them. They are family to us. They know how much we care about, obviously, this company, because this is like our business baby. You know what I'm saying? And they put their passion into it and their knowledge into it as well. And they've grown their clientele, our membership. I cannot say enough good things about them. They're fantastic.
So right now it's the 4 full-time nutritionists and 2 girls, the 2 customer service reps. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got another guy in the office.
Yeah, they all have like a nice big office space now for each of them, private offices, where we used to be all like clustered in basically one room together with no doors to separate us. It was fun because if I had an announcement to make, I could literally just yell it and everybody would hear it. Now I have to knock on everybody's door and go around the facility. But it's very cool. I mean,
and it's neat too, whereas all the girls, all the nutritionists do the same thing at the end of the day. You get the different aspects of their life and personalities come through with it. For example, one of our nutritionists had celiac disease, so she's very familiar with stuff like that. One of our newest nutritionists is a vegetarian, so she has more specific with that. We have another one who's very familiar with eating disorders. So even though everyone has the same knowledge, the personality connections may be different with other people. It's great.
Yeah, the program design comes from us. It's our program, and then they teach it. They teach you how to do it, how to implement it. They're your touch point because you have constant contact with them.
They'll give you tissues there's a lot of crying.
Yeah, so all the girls have couches in their offices. It's kind of like a
Therapy.
Yeah, it's
Well, it has to be, right?
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
the connection and the nutrition and just in itself is so emotional.
It is,
and it has to be. Without that, there's not very much room to grow. I mean, now we're just eating, right?
I mean, listen, everything that people are coming into regarding nutrition, it is emotional. There's a reason why they're overeating, undereating. There's just so many emotions that go with it. And like you said, it's like 2 minutes of actual scientific nutrition, and the rest of the consultation or follow-up is just why. Let's get you through this hardship that you're going through, and it's therapy. It really is.
And that's one of the things I love about the flexible nutrition approach as well. It keeps the focus and the goals simple and concise, so we can actually worry about the real problems rather than you stumbling over 17 phases you don't understand, and we still can't worry about why you're not doing it, where we can say, here's the base model, we're going to clean this up, but let's figure out all the habits first.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, for our listeners, what the hell is flexible nutrition? Because obviously, you talked about this already.
Yeah.
We're going, and this is why we have the podcast. We want unbiased information to get out to people, because all the white noise,
Right.
Again, Brian and I, one of the things we we get stuck on is there's the damn ketosis. Like, let's get on to keto.
Oh.
You need to lose weight, just go on to.
I can't.
But it's, was it Atkins? Was it this? Was it that? I mean, let's talk about what this exactly is, because it's not technically one thing.
Right.
So what does this mean?
There's a lot of layers to this
so
onion.
I guess the easiest way to explain flexible nutrition is it's a label put on something that doesn't need a label, because all it is just teaching you nutrition 101 and a system of tracking.
It's literally what you would learn like in a first day of a nutrition course. It's science-based, it is basic nutrition.
So it would basically be calling elementary school math 3.0 or some crap. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
real
it's
basic.
just, yeah.
I always say we stay in kindergarten.
Yeah.
We're working with you.
We're
We
in
stay in kindergarten, and everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten. Right?
Yeah.
And it's so it works very well with nutrition. So go ahead, tell us more.
So basically we teach them the foundation of nutrition, and we teach them, what are macros, right? We talk about proteins, fats, and carbs. It's what you would read on a nutrition label. Very basic stuff. But we teach them what their macronutrients should be based on where they are now, what their goal is, and a few other factors, and how to hit that, and how to choose the foods you like. Like, personally, we hate meal plans. We flipping hate meal plans so much. They are not sustainable. What happens if you show up to work and you forgot your meals at home? What happens if, I don't know, you didn't go grocery shopping in time? We want you to have the knowledge, the education, to be able to on the fly be like, oh, I can do this. And that's what flexible nutrition does. It teaches you what the hell you're eating. And in addition to that, it teaches you to develop a healthy relationship with food. So we get away from good food and bad food. It's just food.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just food.
I always like to talk about food and also exercise in the same sort of vein here, because it's always combined. There's no good food, bad food, just like there's no good exercise or bad exercise. They're just tools in your toolbox. A hammer isn't good or bad. It's good for a job or bad for the job. So when you look at things through that context and you're looking at the whys, so someone may say, hey, that salmon's healthy. I go, well, okay, what's healthy mean? Does that mean low calorie? Does that mean high calorie? Does that mean high protein? Does that mean low carb? Healthy is a very vague statement.
Very vague.
So once you realize what you're actually saying and saying, oh, this salmon is good for my diet right now because I need some fat and protein, then it's healthy, I guess.
Right. And I would say IIFYM, if it fits your macros. That's a label that people put on this style. It gets a bad reputation because people are like, oh, I'm gonna eat Pop-Tarts and cookies. Like, nah, like, don't be eating Pop-Tarts and cookies. If you eat Pop-Tarts and cookies all day, you're not gonna hit your macros. But we're teaching you how to interchange things. So like, hey, I'm not in the mood for chicken today. I wanna do some, I don't know, shrimp instead. Hey, I don't want broccoli. I wanna do asparagus instead. So you're swapping and interchanging, quote unquote, healthy micronutrient dense foods. Your micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals. But also, say you're just like, hey, I want a cookie. Have the freaking cookie. Don't feel like you just screwed up your progress and you just say, hey, F it, I'm just gonna go binge on the entire sleeve of cookies now because I ruined my quote unquote diet. Have the cookie, you could track it into your macros for the day and be like, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden people are developing this healthy relationship with food and not being like, oh, I screwed up my plan and I'm done. It's too hard. It can't be that way, and that's why we've grown so much, is because of that sustainability.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time too, because the argument will always be, well, the sweet potato is better than the cookie. I go, yeah, 100% it is. But I go, if eating that cookie lets you stay on the diet tomorrow, what's better?
Yeah.
So I'm very big on longevity. Give me 80% forever. You'll get so much more than 100% for 3 months on,
Absolutely.
6 months off.
Yeah, and we teach people to like not obsess over the number, whether you're obsessing over the number on the scale, whether you're obsessing over the number when you're tracking your food. You have ranges. It's flexible nutrition, not only meeting flexibility with foods and variety, but you have a range of macros that you could hit. You don't have to be like, oh, I have to have 150 carbs today on the dot. Oh, I have to eat one almond to hit my fats.
And it's funny, because even when the programs are written up, it says in there are ranges, whether it's -5 to 10 to plus whatever it is, but everyone just sees the number and forgets the range.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the concept, and yeah.
So eventually, is the goal then to just teach people, all right, well, you don't even need to really look at this anymore, you just kind of know?
Yeah, so basically what I'm in right now, because I've spent so much time tracking and I've learned what's in food, is currently, at this point in time, I'm not preparing for a competition. So just for the listeners, I personally am a professional bodybuilder now. I made it to the IFBB with Coach Randy. Nice. And so that took years of time of growth and nutrition. But this summer I didn't compete, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of intuitively eat because I know what the hell's in the food that I'm eating. So I'm not sitting tracking every day, but I roughly know if I eat A, B, and C, I'm gonna be roughly hitting my numbers. So you can kind of relax. So that's that concept.
And that's what I really tell everybody. That's the goal, is to get to a point where you can make good choices without obsessing about making good choices, just because you have the knowledge. And so you're not sitting there 6 months after leaving the program and going, man, what the hell did Randy say? Oh, I forgot it, so screw it. I always said from day one, I want to create more leaders and a lot more real intelligence in the industry. So when people go, if you're with me for years and years, I failed you, because nobody likes me that much to hang out with me.
Failed.
I go, you should be going on your own, doing your own thing. If you want to come back every now and then for a refresher, that's fine. But I want you to leave and spread the good word, not stay on the wheel.
And talking about spreading the good word, me and Randy, we started doing seminars a while back. We did seminars at gyms, and now we've expanded. We're doing seminars for the police academies across Monmouth and Ocean County.
Cool.
We're doing seminars for teachers, for corporate centers such as Johnson & Johnson. We're really extending outside of just gyms and providing education. We do them complimentary. So if anybody's listening, wants us to come do a seminar, we will do that. Just contact us. But it's spreading education and understanding of what's going on out there, because there's so much misleading information out there and very conflicting information, and people feel like they're dieting, quote unquote dieting, and just burning their wheels and getting nowhere. So that's where we come in, is to fix that.
And that's one of the things that always frustrates me, because I tell people, whether you're dieting perfectly or dieting terribly, you still feel like you're dieting.
Yeah.
So when you don't get the results, it sucks. So
Yeah.
it's not a lack of energy, it's just a lack of direction.
Well, it's a burden to carry, and you're just carrying that damn rock around.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to put it down and be my normal self.
Yeah.
I want to get back to something, because I like what you said. No one, I disagree with you. I'm sure that somebody likes spending time with you, but after a while, like, it becomes a crutch. Right? People want to know, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it, and then I'll just keep coming back, and all those things. And I can't stand it. Well, what do you eat?
We're not all size 7 shoes.
There's no magic foods. Like, what do you eat? Like, there's no magic. Just hit the right macros.
I'd be 300 pounds because of the training.
Everyone's different.
That's
There's no one program for everybody. There
Right.
isn't. It's so specific. And when we talk about macros, the macronutrient profile, we calculate that specifically for you, and that's going to help you efficiently drop body fat. And we talk about fat loss, not weight loss, very often here.
Okay.
Fat loss, not weight loss, because we don't want you to lose weight from muscle and water and all the good stuff. And then we focus on whether you want to increase your muscle mass, increase your endurance, your performance, your strength, specific.
So, like, just some extreme examples of how that would change person to person. So for when I'm bringing somebody in, let's say for a show day, when I'm bringing in a UFC fighter for a weigh-in versus bringing in one of my bodybuilders, the UFC fighter still needs to be able to move the next day. So she's going to have to come down a lot different than my bodybuilder, who just needs to look pretty. So it's all, everyone might see just the final product, but sometimes at the end it takes a very different way to get there based on whether it's performance goals or aesthetic goals.
All right. How are the clients tracking things? How do they implement the program from, like, the X's and O's standpoint?
Go for it.
Well, I'd say majority of people pick it up no problem. I'd say the people that struggle are probably the people that struggle with most programs, who kind of go into it with setting themselves up for failure and telling you all the reasons they can't do it, instead of the things they can. And so I always tell people, I go, you're just worried about being perfect. I'm not asking for perfect. I go, are you trying to be Mr. Olympia, or do you want to lose 15 pounds for your kid's wedding? So we don't need to be that. But everybody in their head goes, oh, I can't be perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. And I actually find that people say, well, I'm a perfectionist, and that's actually a lie and a crutch. They're really just afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if more people just went out there saying, man, if I don't do this perfect, but I still get my goal, did I fail? And once people change that mindset and focus on, did I attain the actual goals I wanted, and not the metrics on the Fit 3D scanner or the body fat. Like, did I fit into the dress, look the way I want, feel the way I want?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people don't see that, and they focus on the wrong things, and they tend to fail.
Yeah, that's a whole topic. We'll talk about the scanner and stuff too.
And, all right, so let's talk about that, because now I know you work with people not only, physically right in front of you can come in this area. When they do come in, you do have a body scanner.
Yes, which you used.
Which I actually did. I came in, I got the whole tour.
Yeah.
Their place is magnificent. It's beautiful. There's a bazillion offices. It's a very comfortable thing. And I know I actually did sit down with Michelle. And really they do have couches, and we actually we joked. We joked, but not so much, because I told Michelle, I was like, honestly, like, I'm in the fitness industry as a professional, but honestly, I'm a fitness therapist. It's
Right,
really what I am.
100%.
And you can, we've got to get through all those layers of why, when I work with someone, I give them what I call my own little client intake form, and I said, why do you want to work with me? What are your goals, and what's going on? Why do you want, like, if someone wants to run, what's the reason you want to run this race?
Yep.
Why is it? Is it, you had it on your bucket list, or is it, it was something that someone told you couldn't do when you were younger?
The why is super important.
Yeah, it's something I definitely want to jump on. And the why is crazy important. And most people, they'll come to you and they don't actually know what they want. They come to you saying, I want to run this race. And I go, and like you said, well, why? Well, because my brother, so you wanted something for your brother. You didn't have nothing to do with the race.
Right.
Well, like, we've had people who want to do things for other people or to impress another person. It never works out.
You gotta want it for you.
Especially in these extreme sports, whether it be Ironman, bodybuilding, or even extreme weight loss. The motivation runs out quick, and you got to get by on discipline.
Yeah.
So if your real reason isn't that important, don't do it. And that's the thing I tell people too. I go, I'm not shredded because I don't want to be. I go, when I'm stressed, I'm choosing to have Chinese food over abs. But I'm not sitting there bitching every Monday morning, I wish I was in better shape. I go, I know exactly why I'm not. And that's what I tell people. I go, it's okay if you don't have a six-pack. If it's more important to you to have your, what you call quality of life, maybe those last 5 pounds aren't worth it for you. But for somebody else, it might be. And that's not a question a nutritionist or a trainer can answer for you.
Yeah.
There's a woman today, by the way, she stopped me and she goes, Christine, can we talk about running? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm doing this race. And she's like, I'd like some tips. And I was like, well, why do you want to do this? She goes, I want to beat the hell out of my husband. And I was like, it was hysterical. I was like, so why?
So that's a follow-up with that is why.
That's why I like
and why.
I want to beat the crap out of Randy.
And then I said, well, what's the? And she's like, no, I do want to be faster. Like, it did go back to her. But that was the best, because I'm like,
I love that.
I want to beat.
I love that.
Because he thinks.
Listen,
it's
I gotta be honest with you. I gotta say a very, very high percentage of the people we work with do it after a breakup. They're like, I want to get fit. I mean, with your quote,
breakups make bodybuilders.
Breakups make bodybuilders. They're the second we sit down, hey, why here? I just went through a bad breakup. I'm like, okay, I called it.
Great client.
And your relationships are the ruin of bodybuilders.
Yeah,
that's the emotional aspect to it. Like, that why, and like I always say, I get the real answer after like the 5th why. Like, all right, I want to do this. Why? That's why. Okay, why? Why do you want to do that? And then why do you want to do that? And why do you want to do that? Okay, there we go. That's the goal.
They gotta trust you. They gotta build that. Okay, I can trust this person. I can let my guard down and really talk from my heart. And once you hit that point, and this is another reason why we've grown. Once you could get to that point, changes everything.
Yeah. And that's a big thing I tell people too. I go, you don't have to come use our services. You don't have to trust me. But I go, if you decide to invest your money in me, at least trust me enough to let me do my job.
Right.
And I go, or I'll give you money back. I don't mind.
Right.
Either work with me and trust me, or don't, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I go, I don't see the benefit in you doing it half-assed. And then I always kid around. I go, I'm someone who totally understands the benefits of lying and cheating to get ahead. That's awesome. Good, go for it. But I go, if you're lying and cheating on your tracker every day and you're still putting on, who's winning? You didn't still get the A on the test.
And we get that.
And also like that right up front, like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, but and it's kind of like, this is what we're doing. We're here to help you. You have to let us help you, or else this is gonna be a short trip.
I mean, I can probably remember a handful of clients over the years where the first thing they say is, well, I eat out every meal, I'm not willing to make any changes, and I drink 3 times a week. And I go, well, that's great, but something's got to give.
If you want to make a change, you got to make a change.
I'm not saying all of it has to go, but just pick your spots.
Pick your spots. That's it.
So now so people come into the office, again, all right, so the couches, we're going to get...
the couches.
It's true, though. It really is. And, what is the why? What's really going on? And that's so true. And once you get the trust, they will be with you.
Yes.
Forever.
Yeah.
And they know that you care.
And we will not let them down. Like, I tell people, I go, bother us. Because they're like, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, hey, you're not bothering us. I go, we're here to get you to whatever your goal is. I go, that is my job, and I'm not going to freaking give up. And I kind of joke around. I go, sometimes I feel like I want things for people more than they want it. And it is a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse, but I am not good at giving up on people. And I keep wanting to help them and push them and get them there. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's like, wow, I just burnt myself out, and they still aren't doing
Taught
it.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
I was like, kids, I can't want this more than you do.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with fitness.
Yeah, and that's what it all comes to. And I say it to a lot of people all the time because I'll get all levels of athletes, and all they worry about is the minutia, the super technical stuff, the stuff that nobody in their right mind should be worrying about.
Exactly.
But that's the stuff they want to argue about on the internet. And I go, listen, when you have these like kids growing up in these third world countries with steel rocks as their bench presses and they look great, it wasn't that their program was so amazing. It's they had great intensity and they just kept going at it.
Yeah.
I go, so if you have a half decent plan with great intensity, you'll go much further than an amazing plan with no intensity.
Yeah, and me and Randy as the owners, so me and Randy work with the competitors, and our staff works with the day-to-day, the lifestyle people. But I tell all of them, I go, even though me and Randy aren't working with you one-on-one, we're not your touch point, reach out to us. You not only have your nutritionist, but you have me and Randy too to answer any questions that you guys have. Use us. Like, we're there.
So tell us about some of the people you're working with. You mentioned bodybuilding, obviously. You mentioned MMA, and then general population. What else? What are the niches?
We worked with a couple
WWE
wrestlers. Yeah.
There's a couple couple wrestlers. We have a rower in college.
Yeah, we worked with JWoww.
JWoww.
Sup, JWoww? How you doing, girl?
Yeah, and like I said, the biggest difference with the when it comes to working with high-level athletes or regular people in terms of what I enjoy about it is, are they coachable? Like, I don't get more out of coaching a high-level athlete and succeeding with them over Joe Schmo. I sometimes hate working with some more elite people because they have, and luckily we don't have any of these right now, which is cool. They have a real sense of ego, entitlement, and why should I do what you're telling me even though I paid you to be my coach, which is a real interesting dynamic.
Right.
Where all I say is, come to me and be coachable. I don't care about your genetics. I don't care where you came from. If you just do what I ask, and I'm not even saying it's going to work off the bat, but I can find out what didn't work, and then we can change it. But if you're giving me messed up variables and half stories, I can't help you.
Yeah, and we mentioned powerlifters,
Okay.
marathon runners, and then, so we're just focusing on athletes right now in this conversation, but I'm going to be honest with you, a very high percentage of our clientele is completely sedentary. They work desk jobs, they do not go to the gym. So what they see on social media is they see a lot of our athletes and they feel slightly intimidated. And when they reach out, they go, hey, I see you work with athletes, but do you work with people who don't work out too? I go, absolutely. It's actually a very high percentage of the people we work with. In fact, we're trying to market and cater to that since they really are.
Yeah, I'd say it's the vast majority. I'd say 70% of our clients are what you'd call regular everyday people. And then 5% are bodybuilders, pro athletes, and in between there is weekend warrior, marathon runner guys.
And the level of growth with those common folk are it's just the level of where you can take them is just so much bigger than splitting the hairs with the athletes, the people that are just kind of looking for that next 2% advantage.
Yeah, and especially when you're working with I'll call them like the elites in the fitness world. And it's always shitty to have the conversation. Sorry, I don't know if cursing.
I dropped the F-bomb.
It's always awful when you have to have the conversation with somebody of, you're not going to be LeBron James. Like I told you all the time ago, I can play basketball perfectly every day forever. I'm not going to the NBA. And it's not a lack of work ethic. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's genetics. And when you get into some elite worlds, the top 1% of the 1%,
Yeah.
So, you'll have people come in and go, I want to be a pro bodybuilder. I go, I want you to be a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens,
Let's take it a day at a time.
Yes.
So talk again. We missed it about the body scan because this is something that sets you apart from
For sure,
from a lot of other companies. Go ahead.
So we were the first place in Jersey actually to have it. We found Fit3D on Google.
Well, they found us.
They found us.
I thought it was a spam email back in 2014.
Yeah,
I actually
2014.
opened it and called them, and we ended up getting it. So it's a neat piece of technology. You stand on this platform, and it rotates around in a circle, and it's got this tall tower in front of it with actually, depending on the scale, 2 or 3 cameras, and it creates a 3D, 360 degree view avatar of your body. So first off, that's the biggest thing where you get this perfect 3D image of yourself. Usually everyone hates it on day one, but you like the
No one likes their first Fit3D scan.
Hey, I threw mine up on the.
Yours was awesome. Yours was awesome.
I saw
was
it.
like, I put it up there. So for everyone that's following me, it's actually on one of my Facebook and Instagram and whatever. I put it up there because I was like, and then I was like, is this kind of like?
I was like, what am I looking at here?
Like, I was like,
You gotta put a little star emoji on everything. You know what I mean?
oh my gosh! I was just like, after I put it up, I was like, Oh. But yeah, no, it is really cool because I wanted everyone to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
I swear, I said, what is she doing now? Like,
so
what is
cool.
this?
And it's for the athletes are actually super excited to work with it. It's for people who aren't athletic that they're nervous. It is completely private. As Randy said, it scans you head to toe, gets accurate measurements of your body, creates a 3D avatar of your body. We could see lean mass to body fat, but the big thing for us is the image. So people get so fixated on numbers. Guess what? There's a % error on this, like there is any device.
Like on anything, and I tell people too, when it comes to these devices, sometimes it's error on its end, sometimes it's accurate to a fault. It'll measure what you give it. So if you have a different brow, your hair's in a certain place, you're leaning a certain way, it's going to measure you that way. So 9 out of 10 times the numbers will also tell you the whole story, but I go, the pictures never lie.
Right.
So that's a nice thing. So even if you got a funny reading somewhere, you can always go, yeah, I look better. And that's a really big thing I focus on with people too. Especially when I used to meet with clients every day, the big thing I tell them is they come in and go, I want to weigh 120 pounds. I go, that's wonderful. What does that mean to you? And they say, oh, I want to have a nice butt, tight stomach, this and that. I go, okay, let's work on those things. I go, we got those things and that number wasn't there. Would that be okay? And you'd be shocked how many people say no.
Right.
And that's what we get. So I go, let's work on getting that picture. And if the weight lines up, cool. But if we look the way we want to look, what does it matter?
So how do you use it as a tool? So you get the image, you're looking at it now, and now we just look for areas where you can...
Yep, so we see your body, we see, all right, what do you want to work on? Do you want to develop glutes and hamstrings? One thing we can't do is spot reduce, that's another topic, but it also allows us to make changes to your design, to your program design. So if things do genuinely plateau, and you're not lying to us, we could make changes to make sure you continue progressing in the right direction.
Yeah, so what's neat is we have everyone scan every 2 weeks or so. So after, just even 1 or 2 months, you already have quite a few scans lined up, and you can take them and compare any point in time to another. And I like having the more often scans, because sometimes if you might come in a certain day bloated at that time of the month, you get a false scan, could throw your whole month off. But when you see every other week, like, okay, that was just a funny reading, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And the more information you have, the better you can work. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, we love the scanner. So I mentioned before, we get away from the scale. The scale is an incomplete number. It's your relationship with gravity, that's it. It doesn't know what you're composed of. Is it body fat? Is it muscle? Is it water? Is it food still in your digestive tract? Did you not go to the bathroom yet? Is it the end of the day? Is it the beginning of the day?
Right.
So people get so fixated on that, and I'm like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. If you're the same weight but you dropped an inch in your stomach and an inch in your thighs, that's real. You might just have some intramuscular water, food in your stomach.
And that's one of the biggest things that we love about the scanner. All the other stuff is fantastic about it, but the coolest thing it does is when you have a client who's a little frustrated because their weight's, let's say, only down a pound this month, and they come in pretty pissed off, and then they look at the scan like, oh my god, my waist is so much smaller, my butt looks so much better, and I go, see? But if you didn't have that data, they probably would have walked out the door and canceled.
Right. Yeah, what do you always say about the girl on the beach? You look at a hot girl on the beach, and you don't say, I wonder what she weighs. You just look at her and you say, she looks good. That's Randy's line, and it's so true. Like, does she look good, or are you sitting there like, she must be 150 pounds?
That's a 120 right
there.
Yeah,
120.
A very big thing with women, especially too, is the body fat percentages. Because everyone goes, "What body fat percentage should I be as a girl?" And I'm like, "Listen, there's the numbers that they'll tell you. Under 23% is lean and athletic. Great." But I go, I've seen girls at 14% who still have their boobs and butts. They just
Genetics,
and that's just where they hold it.
Yeah.
I've seen girls in mid-20s or like 19 who look flabby. It's just hit or miss. So the body fat for women can be a little misleading because of all the fun female stuff.
Yeah, again, it's just incomplete data.
It's incomplete data, and like you said, the spot reduction is a whole other topic. I mean, when I compete, I lose all my body fat in my chest. I have pec striations in my chest. Guys are no longer like, hey, nice chest, nice boobs. They're like, oh my god, I'm jealous of her pecs. I'm like,
then she's not the wife anymore, she's a science project.
I'm a science project at that point. You get the best of all worlds here. Look fun. I'm fun body transformation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So when is your next competition?
So I was going to originally, I did my IFBB debut last year at the New York Pro, and this is a pretty cool story. So let's go back to, was it 2014, 2013? We went to the New York Pro. We went to New York to go see it, and it was pouring rain. And by the time we got there, it was sold out. We couldn't get in. And we're standing in the pouring rain. We're watching all my idols walking by, right? And they're going to the New York Pro, which is one of the most prestigious shows in the world. This is not just national, this is international. And me and Randy go, you know what? one day you're going to be on that stage. You're not going to be in the audience. You're going to be on that stage. And we're sitting there in the pouring rain. We go home, so we locked and loaded for the next couple of years, and I finally made it to the New York Pro. I stepped on that stage last year. It was one of the most wonderful moments of my life. I got off that stage. I did not place well, but I got off that stage and I was like, oh my God, I fucking did it, you know? and then I did the Dallas Pro last year, and then this year again, I took off. I had to focus on the business. There was a lot of other things going on that were honestly, I'll be honest, more important. And so I'm looking for next year, hitting the New York Pro again, doing better than I did last year, obviously, and then possibly like another show before that, but we haven't really like pinned what we're gonna do.
Yeah, that's what we're starting to on Michelle's end. Because I'm kind of a control freak when I actually go to.
No.
So I've been already like planting seeds of what we need to do for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm just waiting until she gives me the go ahead, and then it's vomit of programs at her, which she won't follow because she doesn't listen to me.
You got to think of the dynamic. We're coach and athlete. We're husband and wife, and business partners.
Let's talk about that.
Does it make you want to throw up?
That was
Stop here.
That was on my list of questions here.
Yeah.
How does that go?
We
Not
were
well.
we were getting that.
Do you have a clock that you punch out in one form and
I know, it's-
merge into the other form?
So me and Randy are polar opposites. It works well for business when you respect each other's creative differences, right? But it's hard because Randy, although it's all a blessing and a curse in both ways. So Randy's head does not turn off. It's great because he's always filled with ideas, but it's a curse because he can't calm the F down ever. So he brings work home, and when I just want to be like, yo, husband, let's hang out in bed and watch TV, sometimes he can't.
Sometimes means almost all the time.
Almost all the time. Whereas I'm done for the day, I put in 100%, I come home and I'm like, I am ready to zone the F out.
Like
So-
I always kid around with people. I go, as much as fitness is my passion, business is probably equally my passion. So the worst thing you can get me going. I mean, there was one night we went, I think, to AC to celebrate some
Oh, God.
anniversary or something, and I got a little drunk.
He just said anniversary or something.
There's something.
Something.
Honestly, I don't even remember.
She's worse
I'm
than me.
I'm worse than he is.
And I got a little tipsy, and just like everybody that get tipsy, they start breaking out spreadsheets on business projections.
Because obviously, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just want to have a good time with my husband. He's like, all right, let's talk numbers. And I'm like, let's fucking not. And I was also really drunk, so I wasn't happy. At our wedding, he was talking numbers with my dad before he went and pulled the trigger and threw
Well,
up.
yeah, that's actually a funny story. It was a
We're filled with stories.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself, and so he tells me the next day after I
My
talked
dad
to him,
knew.
mortified, her father, and he goes, "Listen, he goes, I couldn't understand a word you were saying, but somehow your math was perfect." I was going in for neck surgery last year, and as soon as I came out of neck surgery for a disc replacement, I had the nurses ring my phone to start writing programs.
Meanwhile, he's in a brace. He can't move. He's like, get me my phone. He's on so many medications, and he's literally texting. So a week goes by post-surgery, and he goes, hey, did I ever go back to so-and-so? And I'm like, yo, you sent them a whole program design. So he pulls up his text. He goes, I did. And it's perfect.
Yeah, it was
It's a proud moment.
it was a moment.
It was a moment.
People know you care about them. How about that?
I do.
That we did.
But in terms of our dynamic, so we had to stop. We work different schedules, more or less. We only work together 2 days a week on Friday and Saturday, just because we do things very differently.
Thank God.
Where I tend to do a lot more X's and the O's. I handle the technical, boring stuff, and she's the social media face of the company, making sure my team is good. My team of nutritionists. I love you guys very, very, very much. I'm so thankful for them, like every freaking day of my life. But I just want to make sure everybody's good, everybody's content, everybody's obviously on the business end producing as well. You know what I mean? And just it's a cool environment. That's what I want. but it's very when it's rewarding. It's massively rewarding because you can sit back and go, "Wow, we did it." But the hard part is when, like anything, when there's tough times, the person you want to vent to is also the person you kind of want to yell at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting dynamic because it's like, if you would have did that better, but I love you, and also your glutes are a little too fat for you. So it's like, yeah. So,
Yeah, like
And take the garbage out.
and take the garbage out. Gotta do that today. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm very more of like the positive end, like the optimist. Listen, I'm realistic also, but I'm more optimistic. Where Randy's more like doom and gloom. He's like, oh shit, we gotta do this. You know what I mean? Like, but you need to have both ends of that. Because if you're constantly optimistic, like you might not realize there are problems that you need to handle. You know.
especially when things are good, a lot of people tend to ride the waves instead of still looking for the problems that are masked maybe under just a false month or whatever.
Yeah,
that's it. Especially in this industry where you're only as good as last month, and there's a million other companies and programs out there. So if you're not constantly at the top of your game, providing fantastic customer service, making sure staff's good, you're good, social media's good, it's gonna fall apart fast.
Yeah.
Where does exercise fall into line? Obviously, the people that are you know, have events and things coming up, and the pros are doing their thing. But like for the regular person that's coming through the doors,
aside from Brian and I, who are always available for your needs.
Yes. Shout out to them. Shout out. But
I told Michelle, I was like, so like if you ever have anyone that needs us, just
and we're working with Orange Theory too right now. So I want to say first of all that if you come to meet with us and you're working with a personal trainer, keep going with them. You know what I mean? Like, we work with a lot of gyms. We shout out a lot of gyms. Like, those are our people. We love them because in the end, the fitness and the nutrition need to come together because it's not about the fitness and nutrition, it's about the client. So you need to make sure that they're happy.
And in terms when it comes to like program design, what the athletes or clients are doing coming from their gym or trainer already, usually I'll tell you know, send me what you're doing, and I'll take a look at it, and if it's just not horribly going to injure them or horribly bring them to a different goal, I'm like,
and we've seen that.
I go, it's fine, you're moving, great, let's start there.
Good.
And we'll build, we'll get to perfection later. But the biggest thing I see a lot is lining up people's actions with their goals, and not out of them being liars, out of they just don't realize what actions lead them to their goals. So they might be getting ready for a marathon, but somehow read somewhere that I just need to do squats, and they're somehow on a West Side squat program, and it's just, and it's not again out of effort, it's just out of lack of knowledge.
Yeah, you get a lot of people that program hop. They don't really know what they want, and they're like, okay, this isn't working. I'm not getting the results I want in this 3-week program or whatever it is. So they jump to the next, and they jump to the next. Even our bodybuilders that we work with, I've been doing the same workout year after year after year, but I manipulate the crap out of the movements. If you've mastered a movement, manipulate it. You know, don't just change it. So I've mastered the bench press. Now I can do tempo changes. I can do drop sets. I could do like different types of pulses, different ranges. So you don't have to just jump from program to program. Take one thing and just master the hell out of it.
If it's working, it's working.
If it's working, it's working.
And I tell people all the time, I go, and it's hard for everyone, I go, drop the ego and learn how to actually lift. I go, lifting weights and doing any sort of activity, it's not about moving from place A to place B. It's about activating the muscles the whole time and properly engaging them. So I go, great, if you lifted from point A to point B and the job was just to lift as a powerlifter, we did it. But if we're lifting for either physical therapy reasons, hypertrophy reasons, or pretty much any reason, and you're not engaging your muscles throughout the movement, that's a major problem. And I see it a lot on the bodybuilding side when I work with these people with fantastic physiques, but they have no muscular control, which tells me that they've been lifting wrong for so many years if you can't even control your lat.
Yep.
So those little things add up, and that's why I tell people, I go, don't worry about the fancy program. I go, how was your program from high school gym? Do that intensely, you'll be all right, actually.
Yeah, and I tell people, I go, do you want a program for aesthetics? Do you want a program for running a marathon? Do you need the program for, you want to do a Spartan race? I mean, it's going to be different, you know?
And that's where I'll tell people too. I go, there's going to be every theory in every different way. But there was a professor from Oklahoma who was a powerlifter also, and he has a great line regarding his squat. He did a deadlift PR for himself, and I think it was like 6 something, which is impressive for him, anyone normally. And they're like, oh, so what'd you do? Did you do this, that, and the other thing? He goes, well, every week I deadlifted 3 times a week, and I tried to lift heavier each time.
Yes.
That's it.
And like, you know, same goes with running. When I tell people that in order to get faster they need to slow down, they don't quite understand that it's going to help them.
They don't grasp it.
Yeah, and you know, it's just I'm just going to go faster and faster and faster and faster, and it doesn't work. It's very interesting. How about payment and things like that? You work with nutritionists, so are you able to go through insurance on any of this?
So I tell people, unfortunately, not directly, but a lot of times these days, a lot of insurance companies may take your receipts depending on the company. So I say, hey, print receipts, do what you can.
It's worked a couple times.
Let them tell you no.
Yeah, it's worked a few times actually. Yeah.
But yeah, luckily we're affordable enough, especially compared to a lot of other nutrition programs, where for $139 a month it covers you throughout the whole thing. There's a 3-month commitment up front and an early termination fee attached to that. And the reason for that is the 3 months is, I say, the minimum amount of time you need to really give a program to do it and see if it's for you. And after that, once you complete the 3 months, it just rolls over into a regular month-to-month membership.
Just like a gym membership, yeah.
Not basically, and it includes everything. It's the weekly visit to your nutritionist, email contact with them, Fit for Eat scans every other week.
Obviously your macronutrient breakdown, your program design, and for those who are not working with a trainer, do not want to go to one of the facilities that we do refer to them, and they just want to be in a gym by themselves. We do provide a fitness plan for them to follow. It's very basic. We can change it up if they need to, but our first resort, we do like to refer out. But person to person.
Yeah, I like to tell people, let me do my job, let the trainer do his job, let the therapist do his job, and everyone will work well together. And going off tangent here, but like I hate when I see trainers these days who have an online certain corrective exercise, let's say, are now seeing your gait and going, "Ooh, I think you have this hip issue. That don't worry about going to the doctor. We'll just do these band exercises, and you might have a torn labrum there." I go, listen, until a doctor tells you it's not fucked up, or
100%.
I told a story a long time ago. I was still a trainer at a gym at this point. I was doing an assessment with a woman, and I go, "Any injuries?" This or that. She goes, "No, nothing." We go to step over a high hurdle, and her knee is really shaky. I go, "What's going on with the knee?" She goes, "Oh, nothing. I had it scoped a few weeks ago." I'm like, "Oh."
Wait, can we talk about that on a nutrition point too? So we have people that come in and meet with our girls, our staff, and hey, do you have any medical issues we need to know about? Anything at all? No, I'm good. I'm perfectly healthy. Only to find out a month later, they're like, "Oh, so I didn't tell you that I only have one kidney, or I have."
That was the best.
That was the best one. Or I only have this or this, and I'm just like, "Oh, that is so important. Like, what are you doing?" So.
But they'll definitely tell us which flavor of yogurt they like.
Yeah.
But I love blueberry. Oh my gosh. Hysterical. So I have to say, and I know when I spoke to Michelle, we spoke before, that for something like this, even, I know you do things, first of all, it's super affordable, because when you think about, we actually break this down and we talk to people, Brian and I can talk to people too about, what are you investing in? You're investing in your health, and there's nothing more important than that. And we totally understand that, you've bills to pay, you've things going on in your life, but where are you putting that money? What are you investing? You're educating yourself for something that could give you more life, more quality of life. And if you think about like a little over $100 a month, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what that breaks down.
Yeah.
To be, right?
Want your coffee?
How many extras of something?
Dining out every day. This has like a couple of different.
Just before you go there too, and one thing I would tell people, the $139 is the price. It's not you signed up and now you got to buy $1,000 of my supplements. There's no supplements, we don't push any of that, so you'll save money just in the supplements you're not buying.
Yeah, we teach you how to buy on a budget also. So you're not dining out as often, so you're saving there. But it's crazy how much you do end up saving when you're investing in your health. That medications, people coming off of medications, actually, yes, people drop body fat with us and they drop weight and their bodies change. That's awesome. But when I'm hearing that they're coming off their cholesterol meds, their high blood pressure meds, and so forth, that is the coolest. And they're like, "I cannot thank you enough."
It's a good investment, not only from how you feel, how you look, and all those things, but from a dollars and cents standpoint. I mean, you're going to save that $30 to $40 in the shopping market, supermarket.
That's what I tell people. It's a little over $30 a visit, where some nutritionists are $500 a visit.
Yeah, for people who are going out to the store and getting breakfast and lunch and dinner, trust me, they're going to save a ton of money.
And you know what? Show me your cell phone bill, all right? God damn it! I got
priorities.
In the 80s,
priorities.
We didn't have that shit. And what's your Netflix and what's the Wi-Fi that's in your car cost you, and like the $10 here and the $10 there.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. I actually stopped drinking coffee back in November. I had to because I was getting like heart palpitations and stuff.
You.
Yeah, right.
I keep trying.
I did the math and I would be saving over $2,000 a year just on what I was getting from coffee.
Right.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
That's one of the last things I have to go. I hold on to that like real death. Like it's.
But everybody has their thing, right?
That's my thing. That could be much worse.
Well, that's what I was saying. Everybody's got their cookie, and as long as you find your cookie, whether it's cookie or it's a glass of vodka or it's coffee, if we can make that thing fit into your life and you not go insane, that's awesome. Even if it's a slightly detrimental thing, but for the greater good, sometimes you got to lose the battle to win the war.
Yeah. Can we just talk about that for a second? So for the last 3 months, right? I've lost 15 pounds, right? Just by eating intuitively because I have this knowledge, this education of tracking macros, right? I eat, well every day, really healthy, let's say healthy foods, and I make sure I have a half a cup of ice cream almost every night, and it's fucking awesome.
Right, and so, but that makes you happy.
It keeps you sane, and it doesn't
it's okay.
affect my
And
results. It's okay.
It's somewhat of a prize, and,
Right.
and
Yeah.
something that you can hang your hat on that you've earned in the
Yeah.
sense.
All right, so this is what I want to touch on for our listeners. That's really, really important. So we come across people all the time. I want to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, this, that, whatever. Again, I hate the whole number thing
Right.
because it does make you crazy.
Yeah.
It's how do you feel? How do you how do
How
your
you look,
clothes fit?
clothes,
Like,
yes.
what is it? And usually it's something deeper than the whole
Sure,
number of
it-
food, but
there's always
we'll throw
something
that out
deeper,
there.
yeah.
So for those people that are constantly going to different diets, how is it that you talk them away from that? I know that one thing I will
It's
mention.
a great question.
There are people that that will say, I've tried this. I'm gonna give like a Weight Watchers a try,
Yeah.
and I always say that to me is making progress.
It is,
because now you're at least
Tracking and being aware.
a little. So
Yeah.
talk to me about how you, without saying you're an idiot for trying
Yes.
this, because honestly, I
Yes.
tell people that at this point I'm like so frustrated. I'm
well-
like, you're an idiot.
Yes.
Have you not done the math on this and looked at
We
the science?
always kid around. I actually usually need a Randy buffer because I'm not pleasant to talk to when I'm angry. So
I am the Randy buffer. I have to take what he wants to say and PG it, cheat it actually.
But it's hard because you
I
are
can't
so
believe
passionate.
people don't want to spend time with you, Randy.
they do until they. I told you all the time ago. If you're doing what you need to do, I'm great. Or if you're not complaining, I mean, you can not be what you don't need to do. But if you're not complaining, I'm good too. If you're not doing what you need to do and complaining, that's a problem.
As long as you come around to my way of thinking, we're fine.
And the clients who know me best, they know they butter me up. They either bring in bagels for me, they bring in Wendy's, they bring me snacks before they come in.
Oh no.
So they're like, all right, here you go. Try to bribe me, works every time.
Randy's the worst nutritionist ever, by the way.
I do as I say, not as I do. But back to that question before. So the biggest thing I would tell people is, start trying to find a common thread. What thing did you have the most difficulty with across the programs? Most times you'll find something as simple as time, or my husband keeps wanting to go out to eat and I can't do it, or vice versa. Those are kind of actually easy things to address because those aren't program issues, those are you issues. And then once we knock those out, now we go, okay, what did you like best about program A, about program B, program C? Hopefully you'll be able to find some sort of link, but if not, we can at least go, okay, what didn't you like about those programs, and try to find one for you. So I always tell people, listen, I obviously think flexible nutrition is the best approach, but everybody's going to have their own, and even if they're crazy, some just work for some people. So I say, but you got to figure out what the biggest problem is for you, what's your issue, and be realistic about it too. A lot of people will go work with a nutritionist one-on-one and not show up to the appointments, not do it, and go, you know what, that didn't work for me. I'm not going to pay so much to see someone in person. I'm going to get an online a nutritionist for half the price, and all of a sudden they get half the service, and well, now it's because they weren't that good. It's just not you. So the biggest thing in common with program hoppers is lack of accountability. So as soon as they can sit there and go, okay, maybe I'm a little bit of the problem, they can start to succeed.
Yeah, the accountability is a huge thing, and that's what we have. Not only do you have weekly follow-ups with us in person and the Fit 3D scans every 2 weeks, but you can reach out to us every day via email, and we will get back to you during our business hours.
And you said that, but you also work with people around the world. So
All
you don't have to
over,
be in the
yeah.
office. It can be via phone or Skype or whatever.
Michigan, California, Texas, Florida, we're all across the country. And I've got to say, the people we work with across the country, their results are sick. They're amazing. And it blows you away because at first you got nervous, because they're not seeing you in person.
Right.
But mind-blowing how good they do.
Yeah, we got lucky with the right people we've met for this.
Yeah. We actually had one of our competitors, he used our services, he lives in California, and he chose to do a show out here in Jersey. He came into New York City for some business and stuff too, but we got to meet him in person, we got to coach
cool,
with him
right?
backstage. It was fantastic, it was really cool. People coming together.
And that's the biggest thing too. And also when it comes to people leaving our program, let's say it didn't work for them, which is usually a nice way of saying they didn't do it. Sure. It's never a screw you, don't come back, let the door hit you. It's great, man. Hope you find the way for you. And a lot of times we have a really high rate of return in a business where you don't usually see that.
Yeah.
What's the old sales? You're never gonna get the B-backs back.
Right.
We actually get a high percent of B-backs back because I always say when you start with Rev, sometimes you only see the light side and you think everything's light and happy. But sometimes, especially the online coaches these days and the supplements, let's say, it gets real ugly real fast, and you go, okay, maybe there was something to all of that. And they do
Right.
get a lot of people that come back.
Yeah, they come back, everybody's motivated on day one, right?
Sure.
They come in, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be great. But there's hardships in it. There's obstacles. And the people who are the most successful are the ones that can persevere and that can step over those obstacles and keep going and not let that one little thing deter them and throw them off the pace.
And I'm not going to lie, that's something that's super hard, but I'd say our most successful people are probably the ones with the most reasons why they shouldn't be successful.
And that's the truth. Yeah. Seriously, there's some people that we work with and their lifestyles are bonkers, like literally crazy. And they're our most successful people because they take no shit, they make no excuses, and they're really tough.
Maybe they
tough,
need that.
They're
They
tough
need that
cookies,
Structure.
man.
And one of my favorite stories of a general nutrition client that came in, this is quite a while ago now. His wife was a nurse, and she called the office, concerned about her husband's health. And she's like, listen, he's stubborn. He works 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the city on Wall Street. He's going to be, and he was difficult. But all of a sudden, he started doing it and buying in, and I think he ended up losing 50, 60 pounds, getting off a ton of meds.
Yeah.
And even he said,
Huge success.
and he was a really nice guy, but he had a kind of a grumpy way about him. He's like, yeah, this works, because he was able to just do his thing.
And that's the people that we see that are most low key and not like, oh my God, I'm gonna be amazing. And the people that are most low key are the most successful. I'm telling you, they're great because they're not using only emotion to get them through it. They realize, okay, this is a system, and no matter what emotional time I'm going throrough, just follow the system.
A lion doesn't have to tell you they're a lion.
And that's true. And also, if something goes wrong, but it's a choice. So I'm wording it wrong, but let's say you're on a great diet, and not for a show, or just for life, and all of a sudden your significant other gets a huge promotion at work and wants to celebrate. Go celebrate. Go have a nice time. Because what's it going to set you back? 2 days for a date that's not even real?
Yeah.
I go, don't sacrifice life for an imaginary goal. And that's a big thing that people like, I can't do the holidays or I'm going to go all out. I go, you can just do them normal.
Even the holidays, right? It's one day. Thanksgiving's one day.
Yes.
Christmas is one day. New Year's one day, right?
I tell them, I said, in life there will be cake.
They're cake. Eat the freaking cake. Yeah.
And you should eat the cake.
And the anxiety over, should I eat the cake, should I not eat the cake, and all this, that's more unhealthy than anything that you're going to, the cake itself.
Right, but then when they hear us say, hey, have it, they're like, wait, my nutritionist said I could have it? And everything just calms down and it's cool.
Well, almost like we opened the podcast with today. We're talking about practice, Allen Iverson. If people were a little more laid back about certain things and realized, just go with the flow, I just got to do it. Just because today is not game day.
Yeah.
And when you realize, it's just that there's also no end date either in lifelong nutrition. There's going to be ebbs and flows.
What do you always say? Perfect is the enemy of good?
Yeah.
That's right.
And striving for perfect's wonderful, but if you're going to get all thrown out of whack,
Mentally crazy.
don't focus on it. Just focus on what goals did I complete today.
And I think that, you joked about having the couches, right?
Yeah,
You joked about that. And then we talk about,
that's not a joke.
No.
That's so serious.
They're really there.
You need those
Well,
couches.
we understand that, right? And without that, like a lot of these diet plans are just diet plans. It's what am I going to eat? And, it's strictly held to that. And it's not going to work. It's a one-way street that just doesn't have those ebbs and flows.
Well, that's what I tell a lot of people too, especially I go, if programs and success was just based on the knowledge of the program, I go, there would be no personal training industry because Men's Health would have every workout for you and everybody in shape.
Yeah.
And I go, those workouts are fine, but
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But I go, if you go do that thing, you're going to get some sort of result. You might get hurt.
Yeah.
But I go, it's not in the design. It's who's keeping you accountable, who's teaching you it, who's keeping it in.
Well, the Navy SEAls do it. It'll work for me, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's my favorite thing.
44-year-old dude.
I go,
I need that.
It's like, well, I did that when I was 16. I should jump into that again at 55 untrained, and that'll be fine.
Right. Oh my gosh. So tell us, as we're about to wrap this up, tell us how everyone can find information about RevolutioniZe Nutrition, and give us your websites, your Insta, your everything.
Yep.
Go.
So we are very obnoxiously active online. So if you go on our website, it's www.revolutionize.usa.com. You can see all of our program information, our prices. We are extremely transparent, and you can also see before and after pictures, Fit